So today we're working on my 2003 Mitsubishi Outlander front-wheel drive. Now if you've ever tried to get this vehicle's toe aligned in the back, you'll know that you can't adjust it because the lateral link arm is fixed. However, we might have a solution to that. It comes from a part technically made for Mitsubishi Lancers. So what we got here is another lateral link arm, but this one's technically made for Mitsubishi Lancers like the Rally Art or the Sportback, not the Evos. So basically Lancers that are also front-wheel drive. Now I've done some measurements, and I'm going to go ahead and put those measurements on screen now. And the thing about it is, you'll see the parts actually match up pretty darn closely to fractions of a millimeter. So I think it's completely reasonable to say that this part should fit in the same spot. In fact, if you look on Mitsubishi's parts numbers, you'll find that this lateral link arm is the same part number on this Outlander as it is for certain Mitsubishi Lancers that are also front-wheel drive. So, for all intents and purposes, I believe this will solve our problem of not being able to adjust the rear toe. Now, if you take a look at both components, you'll notice the Megan Racing one is shorter. But, it can also be longer. That's because it's a turnbuckle adjusting link. So, basically, we just unscrew from right here, and we can make it longer to match this part, and then go to an alignment shop and have them align it nice and squared. So I'll show you how this works. We turn this here, and it spins both sides outwards. And then, once we match up to what the stock part is, we take this nut on both sides and compress it down onto the shaft, and that locks our adjustment in place. So we got it to the point where we've lined up the eyelets, and the bolt goes through both of them nice and easy, and I've tightened down the nut onto the shaft. So now we can reinstall this part, well, replace this part with a new Megan Racing part. Alright, as you can see, the part seems to fit just fine, so we're going to go ahead and torque this down to spec. So now that we got the part in place, we do need to torque it to spec, and finding the torque specs are a little dubious, so I'll just give you the information I got from the Mitsubishi dealership. Now, the bolt up here that has the eccentric nut, so this one right here, needs to be torqued down to 89 plus or minus 6 foot-pounds, and the one down here that connects to this arm needs to be tightened down to 67 plus or minus 7 foot-pounds. Now, one thing to note, you must torque this down to spec when the suspension is under load, meaning put the wheel on, get the car off the jack stands, and then get under there and torque it down then. I just got back from the alignment shop and ba-bam, these are the numbers. As you can see, my alignment is now completely within spec. This is what it was before. Now granted, putting on the new parts, I expected all of this to be out of kilter to begin with, but with my old stock parts, the toe was completely out of alignment as well. It was in the red, which is why I did all of this in the first place. But as you can see, the part that is technically made for a Lancer does in fact work on an Outlander.